I always love that TikTok. I love it. So, hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Diana. I do lifestyle, mummy lifestyle. I am a mother of two. And yeah, so that makes me a single mom of two. A very happy one at that matter. And I'm living the best version of myself. So, today I want to talk to you about the power of prayer, the power of believing in God. Um, my channel at this point in time is mainly focused on me making this house a home. I moved to South Africa about almost 3 years ago now, maybe more over 3 years ago now. But anyways, I moved back to South Africa. I moved from Ireland, and before Ireland, I was living in Portugal. So that means that I lived in Europe for about maybe 14 years, maybe even more than that. Jesus. But anyways, but when I made a decision to come back to South Africa, it was a decision I was so excited about and I was happy about. Things were happening in my life, and my channel is focused on, will be mainly focused on us living in this house and making this house a home for me and my children. And I want to tell you why um, I got to buying this house. When I moved back to South Africa, I was living in Sandton, and I lived in Sandton. I loved it, um, and I moved a bit. I was moving from one place to the other, not because it was just what was happening. So we had moved from one place to the other, and I really got tired of it, and I realized that my furniture was getting damaged. Because the last apartment I lived in was in Sunninghill, and we were living on the fourth floor. There was no lifts, there was no nothing. And these guys that helped me move really did a good job, but it was just strenuous. And I realized that, oh my God, my furniture gets dirty every time I move. I'm moving my kids. My kids are not settled. I'm not settled. And it was just about time that I was just frustrated with moving from one place to the other. And it was through my own decisions, through, oh, we bought in this complex, let's go to another complex. But then it got me realizing that I'm tired of it. I want to settle. I want to put my kids in a place they call a home. So, in thinking all of that, I was working and life was moving. And then all of a sudden, I don't know who I spoke to, and they said, why don't you just buy a house? I was like, yeah, you're right. But at the same time, I didn't want to buy a house, like a freestanding house, because I was still, I don't know, maybe a bit worried about being a woman and being with my kids in a standalone house. So once that was set out into the universe, I started working on it. One day I was at work and I was bored, and I was like, okay, fine, let me look what's available. Let me look what's available if I want to buy a house. So I went into the search, Google search, and I opened, I don't know, whatever came up, whatever, one of these websites where they sell houses, whichever one I clicked, I don't even remember. But the first house that I decided to go into and open was this house. I opened it and I looked at the pictures and I was like, oh, cool, it's something that I like, but let's look, because you can't go for the first thing, right, guys? That's just how life works. You can't go for the first thing and say, I found a house. Right. I looked at over 100 houses over that following week. And I was like, okay, fine, let's see what happens. I started doing the process of buying a house. Oh, not the process of buying a house, but the thinking of buying a house. But something in my head said, go back to the first page, to the first house you ever saw. I went back to the first house that I saw. I called the agent. I'm like, okay, it's in the area that I'm kind of happy with. Well, not kind of happy. I was okay with the area. I was happy with the area, to be honest. I felt safe in it and I knew the area. So I was like, okay, fine. Is it possible to view the house? And the guy's like, yeah, we can do it right now. I was like, oh, I'm at work. Well, can do it tomorrow. This realtor, when God aligns your helpers, this was it. And it's the same thing with when I bought my vehicle. God aligns his people for you. God has his people to help you. If you pray and you believe in God, you know yourself that this is it. This is working out. My realtor was like a brother that I never had. My realtor is a white is a white British descendant who lived in South Africa. So we got to chatting and all of that. It was like I was talking to my brother, and he's like, Diana, this is your house. From the first day, he's like, Diana, this is your house. This house has had many viewers. Majority of them walk away with negative comments. I was like, why? Because when I toured the house, guys, I felt like, my God, I can do so many things with this house. And like I always say, Rome was not built in a day. So obviously, I was going to have fun. I was going to have blast. Knowing who Diana is, I like fixing things. I'm artistic. I'm creative. I love interiors. So hello, this was like, my God, I'm loving this. So when I toured the house and I walked around, and I love projects. So obviously I'm in interior designing. So obviously I've done so many houses before, and this was like, of course I can do this. Yes, I could. So the guy was like, Diana, this is your house. Sometimes you really don't want to believe something, but you want to believe it at the same time. But I was like, okay, God, let's do this. The process of purchasing a house, I did. They wanted so many documents, which I could, supply them with. My realtor was like, Diana, I want this paper, and I'll get this paper. My realtor was just on board. Like, I would have given up at some point if it wasn't for him, to be honest. And then I got the family involved. I brought my sisters over to see the house. I brought my other sister over. I brought my kids. Like, every time I thought about this house and it was the weekend and I was free, I'll come and see this house. I'll come and chill here. And my realtor will be like, okay, fine, I'll come and open the house for you. And I'll be here for like 2 hours. And I'll be sitting, I'll be walking around in the house, and me and my kids will be talking about what this can be, what that can be. Sometimes I'll come here on my own. So eventually, when the paperwork was now feeding and all the banks had been given the application, obviously the banks had to do what they need to do. So we sent the application to all the banks. And at the first time, I got one bank that approved a 75%. And I was like, yeah, I like the 75%, but I want 100. Other banks had denied me, whatever was happening. And I was like, God, how can I get 75%? Where am I going to get the 25%? On one visit that I came here, the Holy Spirit said, Diana, pick up a rock that's next to the pool and go pray about it. Hold this rock and go pray about it. Take it to your apartment. In that time, I was still in Sandton. I was still in Sunning Hill. So I listened to the Holy Spirit. And then I went home. I prayed over this rock. I used to pray. Every time I prayed, I pray about my house and God, do what you need to do. On the very last, Standard Bank gave me 75 approval twice. And my realtor kept saying, Diana, don't accept it. Don't accept it. So we didn't accept it the first time, and then we reapplied, and then they gave us another 75. On the last day that I was supposed to deny the 75%, and I was about to take it. And my realtor is like, Diana, don't, because you have to pay this 25%. This 25% that you can pay can actually help you with the house eventually. Won't accept it right now. Let's see if we can get 100%. Guys, I tell you that God's angels live here on earth. Everybody who was involved in this process was just like, this is your house. I'm like, okay, you say that. I want to see a bank that says this is my house. So one day I'm flat out. I'm like a fraught tire. I'm like, I've got 75%. I've got until 6 o'clock to either accept it or drop it, and obviously they're not gonna offer it again. I get home at about 5. To be honest, guys, I had prayed, I had cried because I wanted 100%. And this house was in my hands, but also not in my hands. So I got home, I had switched off my phone. I told my kids, please, I just want to watch TV and have a drink. My kids gave me the space. They went to play outside. Obviously, they went to play outside. So I switched on my phone at about 5:45. I think somewhere around 5:45. And as I switched on my phone, I see I've got so many calls from my realtor, missed calls. And then I see I've got an email from a bank. And I open this I open this email and it says 100% approved. I still get goosebumps right now because yeah, it was an answered prayer. As I'm reading this email, my realtor calls me. He calls me and he is screaming. Like I told you, this guy was like my brother, guys. There was nobody who was believing in this more than him. He calls me and he's like, Diana, Diana! Like this guy. I was happy. He was more than happy for me. He's screaming on the other side of the phone. I'm screaming. I'm in tears. I'm praising God. Because at this time now, I really wanted it, you know. I really had imagined a life for me and my kids, never moving. And, you know, obviously it's a mortgage, so you got to pay it, you know. But I was believing God that everything is going to be all right. This guy calls me. Michael calls me. My realtor calls me. And he's screaming. I'm screaming. I'm praising God. And I went and I held this rock that the Holy Spirit told me to pray on and believe God for this home and believe this is my house. It was done. It was done. The house is mine. And then that was in November. No. That was November. And then I said to Michael, Michael, I want to move in. And he's like, no, you can't move in. We have to finish the paperwork. I said, Michael, I'm believing God that by December I'll be in this house. Guys, on the 23rd or 25th of November, we were in this house. We were in this house. My wish was that I wanted to be in the house. My mother was coming for holidays from Scotland. And I knew if I had remained in the house in Sunninghill, my mom would not be able to do the four flights of stairs every single time she comes and visits me. So I was praying, God, I would love to be in this house so that my mom doesn't have to use stairs. You get me? So I was like, God, I really want my mom to be in this house and I want to spend Christmas in this house. I want to do everything with my family in this house. Guys, God did it. God does it. You know, and I want to thank my family. I want to thank everybody who was involved in this process because it's not me. It's not. It wasn't me alone. It was everybody who loved me, who supports me. You know, God did it. God did it, and when something, guys, I want to tell you something is that when something good is about to happen in your life, you are going to face a lot of struggle. You're going to face a lot of pushback from the devil. Do you know, in the process of buying my house, I think I learned as well was that sometimes you don't have to fight against people that come against you. Play their game. Let them think they're winning, and yet you're gaining the whole world. You're gaining the gifts that God has for you. One thing I learned was that you don't always have to fight. You don't always have to be the winner. Let them win. Let them win because because I was fighting with my boss. To be honest, I was fighting with my boss, and I had to walk away. Of course, the ego in me, the pride in me would be like, walk away, you don't need him. But at the same time, I was like, if I walk away in this manner, I am not going to get the gift that God has for me and my kids, and my family at large. This is a home that we are going to have forever. This is a home my kids are going to have forever. So I took ego out of the way. I said, okay, fine. Boss, whatever. My boss was not paying my salary. My boss was not cooperating. Okay, fine, I'll play your game. I will work for no salary. I worked for no salary for 2 months, 3 months. And the bank is like, we need a letter. We need you to tell us why the salary is not entering into your bank. I had to ask my boss to write this letter because I'd already told him I'm leaving. So I had to ask him to write this letter. And he did. But mind you guys, I'm still working. So he wrote me a letter to say I was still employed with him and there was issues with the money, whatever. Gave that to the bank. And then he eventually paid me 2 days before my 100% came in. So that was the thing that was holding my application. They needed to see money going to my account. So I said, okay, fine. Devil, I'm going to play your game. I played a game with the devil. I made him think that he was winning, but I gained what I had been praying for every single time. I said, okay, fine, let's play this game. But I know who's behind me. I know who's around me. Jesus Christ was around me. You want to play a game with me knowing I have Jesus? Let's see you win. Baby, Jesus showed off. Jesus did everything. How can a person buy a house within 3 months and occupy and live in that house? Do you know this process takes about 8 months? To actually purchase a house, everything is done. You move into your house and you've got the keys. It was done in 3 months. Jesus did it in 3 months. So, and in talking about pushback, you will find that most people that call themselves your friends, they're not your friends. But anyways, guys, God did it. God did it, and I am grateful. So for that Christmas, the first Christmas we're in the house, I kid you not, there were no curtains in my house. There was no beds in my house. there was just love. That's one thing I can tell you. There was my mom. My mom had came from Scotland, and she was happy to even be on the floor, but to be in that house. I was happy too. My family was around, my sisters were around, friends were around, and I couldn't have asked for more. I really couldn't have asked for more. And I'm just grateful to all my family, all of y'all, and friends. That when you have a circle, no matter how small it is your circle. You must know your people. My circle is very small. Like, guys, my circle is very small. And in this process of buying a house, it also taught me who are my people. It taught me, like, who are your people. And one thing I tell you that the Holy Spirit told me in the initial stages of buying a house, I was told to keep quiet. No matter how excited I was told to keep quiet. I promise you, the only people that knew that I was buying a house, and I only told them after I had submitted all the documents, were my mom, my sisters, and I didn't even tell my kids. I used to tell them, no, let's just go check out the house that we want to rent next. So my kids were in this mindset of, we're going to go check out a house that mommy wants us to move to next, like not buying. We were just going to move to next. So I was told to keep quiet. So, and And you know the one thing about the devil tells them that this person is working on something, but we don't know what it is. The devil will send his monitoring spirits, but you must. Even in your prayer, sometimes I had to pray in here in my heart. That's how much the Lord told me. Don't tell anybody. Sometimes I would pray in my heart. It was between me and God. And I'm praying for this thing. I would have night vigils on my own. You know, my sisters did not know. My mom did not know. But I was told, don't tell anybody. Like, this lesson is not new to me, guys. This don't tell anybody lesson is not new. But I'm a Pisces, and I'm a person who loves people, and I talk. I talk. You know, if you just sit next to me, I share because I genuinely trust people. You know, and I know now there's so many wolves dressed in sheep clothes. Not that I know now, I know that they are, but it still doesn't take me from the character that I am. I don't know if I'm making sense. That the way the world is so screwed still doesn't take away from who I am. I will always be that person who has time to listen to you, time to share with you, time to take off my clothes and give them to you. That's just who I am. And I think the devil think that's weakness. I got another story to tell you. That is my superpower. That is my superpower. Remain who you are. Remain who you are. They will throw bombs, they will throw traps for you, but your God who is in you, greater is he that is in me than he that is in the world. That he that is in me, he will never let you walk on that trap. He will never. He will show you, oh, look, they set a trap for you. And you nicely walk around it and carry on your way. He will show you that, look, this is what they had done for you. But now I've shown you, so walk the other way. Turn back. Keep quiet. Don't talk. No, don't go meet that person. Don't accept that phone call right now. It's a trap. Guys, discernment is everything. We're not. You know what I'm saying? Our spirits were naughty. We were not make sure. God is doing wonders. And I'm not saying that now that I'm in this house, things are easy or, like things are running smooth. No. I still got to do what I need to do. Life carries on. Life demands its own stuff, you know? So, and I'm saying, I cannot do this. God can. God can. And if he can do it for me, baby, you best believe he can do it for you. And I'm not saying I'm a perfect Christian. I'm not. I am not a perfect Christian. But I know he is with me. I know he's with me. So guys, my journey at this point in time will be mainly about the house and the things that I buy for the house, the things that we do in the house, the things that we do not do for the house, the things that we do around the house, outside the house. That is just my life. You know, the things I love doing. I love looking after my house, my kids, cooking, setting up this house. Even with the little that I have, I find so much joy in buying a little picture frame at the thrift store and putting a picture of my kids and putting it on my walls in my house. I love that. And I'm a thrifter. I'm a big time thrifter. Yo, it's something else. I need help. But this is how I'm building my house. And you will find something brand new. You'll find something very old. You find something expensive. You find something very cheap. It's all across the board. But I'm super happy, guys, that you could join me on this journey of my life at this point in time. Moving forward, God will bless you. God will bless me. God is for us and nothing can be against us. I love you guys. I'll see you again.